What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and welcome to the top 4 games I'm looking forward to in the first week of February. There's a lot of PS Plus in this, but there's also a couple titles that are not. Let's begin. Each week, there's something good out there coming, and I'm planning on covering all of the different titles. Stick with ACG and subscribe for the weekly updates on the incoming games. For any of the titles that I've done coverage for, I'll put the links in the description. Next week, we can look forward to the following: the Neo Collection. This is something I'm absolutely excited about. If you've ever wanted to attach some kind of crude blade to a chain and swing it into the face of your enemies, this is the game for you. Neo 1 and 2 have let us do that for years, but now the collections are coming out. And while the PS4 is just getting the DLC in each of these, if you own the PS4 versions in the digital form, you can upgrade them to the PS5 versions. I want to point out the Neo games are incredible. That graphical upgrade on these from the original excellence on the PS5 is huge. The game looks amazing. 4K, support for modes that run 120 FPS on the PS5. One of the nice things about Neo games is that their learning curve is a bit more stable for newcomers, and with so many weapons and stances, items, armor choices, and that mystical ancient Asian setting, it is one of my favorites. See my reviews for more. Also, Fighting Cowboy on YouTube has some excellent walkthroughs, some build videos, and otherwise that you can check out if you want to leap into the game. And while you won't get those graphical upgrades on PS4 versions, you will get that DLC. One thing to remember, and I'm going to flash this up so you can see it, there are some upgrade path issues with this game, so keep an eye out for it. Stressing, save games are compatible between them all. And moving on from there, let's talk about a title I adore, Concrete Genie. This is going to be available on PlayStation Plus. I can't stress enough, this game is worth checking out. It's phenomenal. You move around a town that's seeped into last dying breaths and create genies with a magic paintbrush to get through the world. If you like Bob Ross, neon black velvet paintings, DMT trips, or just teen angst, the game's for you. It follows along the story of this young guy in a town that's been mostly abandoned, and he tries to return it to life with a magic paintbrush. That's either an awesome idea or a one-way ticket to a 24 wellness check. To get through the world, you create these genies from parts that you unlock and paint them on the walls around you. They come alive and they can help you solve puzzles to progress. It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Again, this also has the pancake version, normal flat version that you play, but it has some VR-enabled special modes as well. Speaking about special, the next thing we're going to talk about is a game that, well, it's had a special release. Control, and the Control Ultimate Edition for the Xbox Series devices, PlayStation 5, and it's going to be on PlayStation Plus. If anything, I'm excited, I'm worried, I'm a bit scared, and a lot happy, and a bit hopeful, because Control's a good game that has been handled like a hot potato made of human feces and barbed wire. Almost nothing has gone right in this game's rollout. It is an excellent third-person supernatural action game. You play as Jesse, a newcomer to a supernatural investigation operation that runs within a building called the Oldest House. And that's it. That's the most mundane part of the entire game, as this is a bit Fringe, Twin Peaks, Alan Wake, and a hybrid of all those things. It gets started. Remedy basically just lavishes the game world with incredible lore, an amazing backdrop of actions and activities, and some very cool combat. However, this game has had a number of issues rolling out. For example, the game recently went on sale, prompting a bunch of PlayStation fans to buy it, and then they announced this update for the PlayStation Plus version, prompting a huge number of refunds. The game also doesn't allow for save game propagation from the old systems to the PS5 or Xbox for the update, since the team is actually very small and the game runs on a much improved and modified engine just for the update. Again, this is on PS Plus, so you'll be able to check it out there. The game had some issues with FPS on all systems when it originally released. Now, the performance mode on the new systems are 60 FPS target and 1440p resolution, or a graphics mode at a 30 FPS target, ray tracing on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The performance mode on the Series S is 900p, but it's 60 FPS as well, and considering exactly how this game ran, that's not that surprising. While the companies have been doing their utter best to make you hate this game, the game itself is enjoyable. The improvements to the next-gen versions are welcome. But as we see with a couple games on this list, upgrading from an older version and seeing these kind of things is going to be really rough for those next-gen people who decided to jump in early. But speaking of jumping in early, and this is probably the most exciting title that I can talk about. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but I got to say, when it was announced and seeing some of the stuff, I cannot wait. Werewolf: The Apocalypse. Do you know your Hamid from your Glabro or your Get a Fenris testing rights versus the Glasswalker's hacking initiations? If that sounds like a code for something, it's not. It's Werewolf World of Darkness lore, baby. And Werewolf is also coming out next week. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. It's developed by Cyanide and published by Nacon. It is a third-person action game with some role-playing elements. It's a hub world-based game. You take on the form of a werewolf going against the Pentax Corporation. Now, this may sound like some title about Greenpeace, and I guess you could say it would be if you threw 30 rabid wolves into one of the Greenpeace boats, then rammed a ship and filmed the aftermath as they tore everybody to pieces. It's third person, it's action role playing, and it's a world that, at least to me, has one of the deepest senses of lore and world building in any tabletop role playing game ever. Let's just hope the action can actually deliver something worthwhile, transforming between your werewolf and your human forms and your mixed forms as well, and you'll be able to do all this starting February 4th for everything but the Switch and Stadia. And before I wrap this up, just a little bit of news. Division 2 sees its next-gen update on the 2nd with 4K 60 FPS support rolling out for the next-gen systems. Again, check on all of these and how you will need to upgrade or where you'll need to purchase these, because 2 of these games do have some issues with rolling over into the next-gen versions, or even if you decide, for instance, on Neo and want to jump into one of the collection versions on the PS4. It's unfortunate the PC's only getting the second game in the Neo collection remastered. I'd like to see the first one redone, but I haven't been able to see any hide nor tail of that. Anyway, that's it for me. If you get a chance, subscribe, hit the notification all bell, check out Patreon, check out iTunes, Spotify. Peace out.